Great. How about now? Can people hear me now? Cool. See, I always get paranoid, and for once I was correct that there was no sound. I hope the sound now is showing I've got sound now, so hopefully the sound has fixed itself. But good. Hello, I know it's been, what's the word? Weeks. The chapter came out like 2 weeks ago, and we're only now doing the review. I do have a good reason though. I have a good reason for why. Stream scuff already. It's not a scuff though, is it? I don't know why it wasn't working, to be fair. Anyway, I have been away for like the last week and a half, so I say I haven't been able to stream. I could have streamed from the hotel. I was going to stream from the hotel. I couldn't be bothered to stream from the hotel. Like, I even had like I made a load of thumbnails, had them saved on my phone, just in case I needed to stream from the hotel room. And I didn't, because I couldn't be bothered. There is nothing more to it than that. But we are finally actually talking about chapter 98 of Ragnarok, because it was a really, really cool chapter. And we can talk about Apocalypse of the Gods as well, because again, a very cool chapter. But let me quickly catch up on chat. It's probably people saying no sound. Hey Seth, just want to say I haven't been attending your streams for a while due to having a lot to deal with. No problem. Streams are not mandatory. We're not going to punish people for not going to streams. But I'm here now, and if I get the chance, I'll be in the streams later. Hello. Well, thank you, Joel boy. It's very much appreciated. Scuttles Rose. So I'm not feeling it today, so it's going to be more than like $5. You're going to donate a bit more than $5 to get it up, basically. KP, hello. Welcome to stream. LK, hello everyone. Hope you're doing well. Me too. Hopefully we're not going to have any lag, but I'm sure we probably will, because, you know, my Wi-Fi's always shit. Hello, fellow pillow worshippers. Thank you for that, Kande Sensei. We need to keep the religion alive. Hello, sound stuff. It's about to ask from the... Okay, cool. So I've got to the end of all that nonsense about there being no sound and me scuffing the stream, because, you know, it's not my fault. So is Odin now... so is Odin not even going to use his spear now that there's been all this emphasis on his sword? I imagine he will still use the spear. I'm surprised the spear isn't like obviously Gram is the sword that is like the relic of the past Odin. It would have been easier just to, you know, what's the word? It would have been easier just to write in that the spear's that. But I guess they want the sword as well. So, I don't know. He's also got the other relics too. So, again, my prediction is... I don't know. I could give him a prediction, but you'll know. We'll see. Oh, God. Cheesemo has super chatted. $10. That's probably enough. Oh, alright. Well, how long in stream did we make it? We made it like... couple minutes and 3 minutes in, and the pillow's already coming out. Okay, I will get to the end of... I'll catch up to chat, then I'll go get the goddamn pillow. So don't worry, the pillow is coming out. Don't worry. Annoyingly. Skeletals Rose, just going to say that I did enjoy the Creature Commandos video. Off topic, but I just want to say that. Thank you. The video's not done well. I did not expect it to do well at all. It's just a show I actually really want to talk about, because for those who didn't know, I love DC. DC Comics are one of my great loves, and I'm loving the new, like, I'm so optimistic for the DCU. I think it's going to be really good, and I will be making content on it. I've already even though the movie's not come out yet, I've already, got some bullet points for what I will probably talk about when I do an analysis of Superman. Only based on like a few hunches I have on what the themes are going to be from the trailer. I could be wrong, that's why I've only got bullet points, because there's a few things that I think it's going to tackle in the movie that I'm really interested about. So I will actually be covering those movies as well on the channel. So that is something I will be doing, but I don't expect them to actually do well. But I'm glad you actually enjoyed the video, because I enjoy it in some, like, I could go on a rant. It's only because, I've seen Surly, a mixed Creature Commandos, particularly as an adaptation of some DC characters, but I did like it enough for appreciating the video. Yeah, this is one thing I will say, because I am the kind of guy that will go, I don't like it because it changes stuff in the comics. I am not that well versed in Creature Commandos comic runs. Like, I've read some Creature Commandos. Like, I'm familiar with the characters. And I will say some characters are not like GI, for example. GI is different, but like GI never had much of a personality in the comics. Frankenstein is like very different. The Bride's not too different. Nina Mazursky is very different, though I could see how her character could have transitioned into the more comic accurate version. Who else is in it? Weasel I love. I don't care because Weasel's not a character in the comics. Like, Weasel's such a D-lister with like no writing behind them whatsoever, so I don't care. So I'm very much the kind of guy that will like get annoyed, but I don't know. I'm not connected to these characters enough that I care that much about the changes, as hypocritical as it sounds. Plus, I think from what I've seen of them in the comics, I think what the show's done with them is taken all the characters in really, really interesting directions, and I genuinely prefer the characterizations we've gotten. Once again, it's the kind of thing where it's the same with like Guardians of the Galaxy. I love the depiction of some of the characters, but like some of them are like nothing like how they are in the comics. So, you know, I can purely say that I love it only on the basis that I am kind of ignorant to a lot of the characterization of the characters in the comics, so I can ignore it and it won't actually annoy me. But I understand if someone's like a big fan of like Creature Commanders in the comics or some of the characters involved in it, what's the word? That you like, if you're that connected to it that annoys you, they've changed it. I can understand that perspective because I definitely have that for some characters myself. But you know, so I love it. I think the show has some problems. I think the plot itself is not the greatest thing in the world. I think there's definitely some issues plot-wise for that show. But in terms of the characterization and the themes, I think it does it really well, and it's made me very excited for the future of the DCU. That said, we have talked about the DCU for way too long on the Ragnarok stream because like no one gives a shit about it. So you know, that's true. Anyway, Pillow. Then I'll keep talking, and we'll actually try to talk about the chapter because there is actually some cool stuff to talk about in the chapter. There we go. We got Danny too. How is that looking? There you go. I've got Danny up there too. Cool. We're up. God, we are. Can't believe Cats from Gintama's president now. I know it's insane. Speaking of Gintama, look at this bad boy. This is just hot off the press. Oh, my camera's so bad. I should like get a good camera. It is not painted yet. Just away. You know, best thing in Gintama. It's for a Gintama cosplay that I'm working on, and I want it as a prop. But that is something Gintama related. But yeah, I could go on a long spiel about America's politics. I'm not going to because that's not what the stream's about, but I could if I wanted to. Fake bread alert for Odin. By the way, when I went back to all the streams, we made $20, meaning $80 for the new body pillow stuff. And yes, I have used. You've clipped it. It's now 70. Oh, damn. If it's actually been clipped, I am screwed. Orchids won the previous round, so I unfortunately don't expect Simba to win this. I'm hoping for a double knockout. I personally think the humans. No, wait. I personally think the humans are winning this. I've explained this before. It's just for the sake of tension, where I feel it makes more sense to have the humans lose, like for the humans to win this, have the hope of ending this in round 12 and not even need to get to the full 13, then getting crushed in round 12, and you know, so it's then 13 becomes like the final push for both sides. I think tension wise it makes more sense, but like I wouldn't say 100% that like it's definitely gonna be a human win, but that is my feelings. I think the relics are not traditional weapons, but are used to keep the four alive, used for ritual. Yeah, I imagine they aren't. Well, though we know Siegfried used Graham to kill Fafnir, so like they are weapons that can be used. And Fafnir, I assume, is quite strong, but yeah, it's hard. Seth the Go. Oh, hello, KGM. Great channel, guys. If you like Dragon Ball, check KGM out. He's a great guy. If you're still around in chat, it's great to see you, man. I'm working on your current video at the moment, editing-wise, and it's almost done. Probably the character I'm most baffled by as an adaptation is Cersei. Yeah, Cersei's interesting. Cersei, I think, gets bodged a lot. Well, not bodged a lot, but her characterization is so interesting because of the plot. Because the plot's so goddamn weird. Cersei, like traditional, I wouldn't say is like a traditional villain. I think Cersei is a more complicated character. The fact Cersei isn't as villainous in this, I like. I think her plan is really stupid. I don't really know why she needed those those incels on her side. I don't know why she didn't kill the princess earlier. Like, I don't really get it. It's weird. I don't mind it. I think her power set, like having to use both hands to use magic, is quite cool. Only because like I like when there is a bit more like rules to powers. It just makes it more interesting as to like why they didn't just do this. I mean, there's arguments of why she didn't just do certain things at certain points, but like I think her actual defeat, I don't think is too much of an issue, considering like Weasel is Weasel and all that. But yeah, Cersei's interesting. I'm pretty sure Cersei will show up again later, probably in the Wonder Woman property, only because we know like James. There was some statement about like her actress like wanting to do it in live action or something like that, so I'm sure we will see her again. So I'm curious to see her in whatever Wonder Woman property she shows up in. She could show up in Paradise Lost, for example. We don't know how old the character is in the current universe, so she could even appear in that. Hoping for season 3 info at chapter 100. SMV chapter 10 Pulse of the Gods. Yeah, I'm interested to see season 3, but like I'm not the most invested in it, I will admit. Simo will win because the goat Leo lost and the rounds will be too predictable if he loses. Yeah, I think I'd bet Simo winning, personally. In my Ragnarok tournament, my favourite fight for me is Eve versus Aphrodite. Eve versus Aphrodite. Battle of the boobies. Poor Simo has the Leo effect, but has the even worse effect of someone winning before him. And there's so many rounds to go rip Simo. No, I've got faith Simo's taking this. Simo does have the Leo effect, though, where he's so hyped up. I hope Simo delivers those. Like, Simo is, like, really, really, what's it called? Is being really hyped up by the community. Like, so I'm very excited. I think he will deliver. Also, since you like DC, have you read Watchmen by Alan Moore? Of course, I've read Watchmen by Alan Moore. It is incredible. One of the best comics, like, just ever. It's great. It's great. Definitely, if you haven't read it, you should. It's amazing. Dude, I'm so sorry you got to recast Oppenheimer. I'm taking to my end. Of course, man, no problem. I meant to chase you a bit the other day, but, like, I went away and I couldn't be bothered. But, again, there's no problem at all. I really need to get the boots on the ground for Ragnarok anyway, because it's been a long time. Wukong uses only 15% of his power. Yes, Wukong is really cool. Like one thing I'll say about Apocalypse of the Gods is at least it's being a lot more creative, I think, in the attacks and the power sets. Like, even though Ra just is hot, that's still more than we usually get, I find, in the main series. So Wukong's attack being so, like, visually cool is very surprising, but in, like, a good way. Do I think Wukong is winning this round? Yes. If I had to bet money, I really do think Wukong's winning this. I will stand that I think Prometheus winning is more interesting. I think a Prometheus versus Ku fight, from a fighting standpoint, I think it's very interesting on the basis that you could have Prometheus being the tank he is, like, withstanding Gaybolg and, like, showing it isn't an instant kill. And then, like, Ku has the issue now where he's used an instant kill and he doesn't know what to do after that. I think that could be cool. I think their mindsets, considering they both have similar motives, I think could be interesting. But I think it's very likely Wukong will be his opponent, especially when Wukong's move is quite similar to Gaybolg in a lot of ways. So I'm very interesting. But Wukong so far, even if his design is what it is, I think Wukong has so far been actually very, very cool. Not gonna lie, what are your thoughts on removing Jesus on the anime? Again, Jesus isn't important to Ragnarok. Like, even, like, again, he doesn't even have dialogue. Even for, like, a cameo, he doesn't really do anything. I don't think they should have removed it, but I get, like, if they fought for like, not offending Christians or something, or they thought it would affect ratings or something, and removing it, I think it's a very small sacrifice for the sake of that. I don't get why they removed all the sages. That seems a bit dumb to me. But, like, Jesus himself, like, removing him, if it's for, like, censorship reasons, fair enough, they have their reasons. I don't think it's the biggest loss because, again, he doesn't contribute anything to the story. But yeah, I'd rather they didn't cut stuff, personally. Just wait till he releases 16%. At this point, the pillar is the MC, not Seth in the stream. It's very true. It's very true. Simp gonna win. Nah, Simo wins. See, this is what I like. We at least got some, like, debate about who wins. Because, like, everyone was like, Okada wins. Like, there wasn't much discord on Susanoo actually winning. My mic is just not working. I got to use new software. I'll still be down for Alcon. Yeah, of course, it's completely understandable, man. I don't know if I think Sim will win. I think it's 40% for Simo, 50% Loki, and 10% possible tie. I'm not giving the tie any stocks. The tie's had long enough to happen. I don't think the tie's happening. But we'll see. Again, like, for my reasoning is just for the sake of tension. I think, again, like, Ragnarok is very tropey. Like, it has the, it has the traitor. It has stuff like that. It's very tropey in that aspect. And, like, every tournament manga basically will have the protagonists lose in the penultimate rounds. Like, that's just like tournament 101. That's just how you raise the stakes. So for that reason, yeah, for that reason, like, it's like, I can kind of get it. So I don't know. Eve versus Aphrodite should do. They think Eve versus Aphrodite should be. They think where they stand against each other. They, you know what, pressing against each other. I get what you mean. Is the tie finally coming, or is everyone just keep predicting a tie until round 13? The tie will happen in round 13. They'll get us with that. Think about Hannibal and Scipio. They only met 2 times in history. The second they actually hit it off, and they're actually friendly to each other. Yeah, Hannibal and Scipio are like, I guess it's a bit like Sasaki and Musashi, where like they barely met in history, but they're always like linked together. Okay, but why remove Jesus? Keep Adam and Eve. I guess the difference is, again, Jesus doesn't contribute anything to the story. You can remove Jesus and it doesn't change anything. Like, the story is exactly the same. You can't remove Adam because Adam's like a fighter. It's also the difference where, like, yeah, Adam and Eve are religious characters from a religious. They draw their origin from a religious scripture, but like, it's not the same. Jesus and Adam and Eve just aren't the same when it comes to like Christianity. They're just not. Also, Adam and Eve are not exclusive to Christianity. Like Judaism, for example, they're also thing too. It's very similar. Basically, Adam and Eve, like, as a concept, are found in quite a few religions. So I wouldn't say it's the same as Jesus. It's a very different situation, even if they're both from like divine scriptures. It was during Hannibal's exile and Scipio's retirement. Guys just like were just hanging out. They were just cool. It's cool that in Wukong's 15% attack there was a Buddha. I still hope Buddha shows up, either watching or in backstory. I would be shocked if Buddha wasn't relevant to Wukong's, considering Heracles was like involved in Prometheus's. It's obviously obvious that we can have Ragnarok characters be involved, and it'd be just very strange to me if Wukong and Buddha didn't have any kind of ties. The thing with Leo is that people didn't like that the headcanon about him was not true and caused a hate bone in the community for him. He's still my glorious backing though. Yeah, like Leo was, in a lot of people's minds, the strongest human, had 2 Valkyries, wins in the final round. That is what people imagined, and obviously we didn't get that. It also, people didn't like his design. At least with Simo, we've known his design for so long, so we just don't have that aspect for people to be disappointed about. But yeah, I do think Simo might suffer a bit from the Leonidas syndrome. I'll bet my weekend snacks for a tie. Okay, man, we're doing snack betting, I guess. There's 23 results in AO3 for Hannibal x Scipio. No! We finally have a full look at Enma or King Yama. Yeah, Enma, I like his design. I really like it. I like how he's the ruler of the underworld in Asia. How does that work? Does he own like a part? Does he rule like a part of Helheim? Or like, is it another dimension? Or, again, like, who knows? It could just be like canon changes, like how the Titans are just obviously different in this spin-off than they are in the main story. They probably removed Jesus for fear of the series getting banned on a large scale, like when it got banned in India because of how Shiva is represented. Just hope they don't remove scientists in round 8. I don't think they're going to remove the scientists in round 8. Oh, actually, no, they might. It is the anime. The anime might remove the scientists in round 8, or at least take a lot of their dialogue out. But yeah, the Jesus stuff, I think, yeah, it's just fear. And again, it doesn't change the story to remove Jesus. He's such a tiny part of the round. Like, again, he has no dialogue. It doesn't really change much it doesn't change really anything when you remove him. Like, because he is a cameo. These are the most cameo of cameos in the series. Like, he has no dialogue. Good Ragnarok fight. Chuck Norris versus the Demiurge. Most powerful human in creation. Most demonic god. Chuck Norris would demolish because, he's Chuck Norris. Why isn't Satan a primordial god? Why is Satan a primordial god and Jesus isn't? I don't know. Like, in Ragnarok canon, Jesus is a sage, but he's not a god as far as we're aware. He is just a human. the Abrahamic God does not seem to be a god in this verse. It's just how it is. Again, like, Ragnarok is not accurate to mythology at all. If it was, like, Shiva and Ahura Mazda would be, like, demolishing everyone. Like, again, it's an adaptation of multiple religions merged into one. It's just a thing. That's just how it is. Yeah, that's just the thing about it. Does Brunhild know about the doll? Maybe not. I don't know if she knows, but I don't think she'd be surprised, because Loki is a gooner, if you know what I mean. So the difference that Jesus seems a saint, while Adam and Eve are more part of the mythos. Again, I think it's just the difference where, like, Jesus is Jesus. Like, Jesus is Jesus. Like, it's just a whole different ballpark to Adam and Eve. Like, I don't think there's any comparison in terms of, like, the difference between them two. Yeah. Jesus is, like, the symbol of Christianity. He is. I guess different there. Like Jesus is God. Like, as far as in the Christian faith, Jesus is God. Whereas Adam and Eve are just creations of God. So it's not as blasphemous to have them presented the story as it probably is with Jesus. It also is white Jesus in Ragnarok, which, you know, might offend some people, because most of the world don't like white Jesus. I don't know how true this is, but there's a rumor that Apocalypse Fight 2 ends in the next 1 to 2 chapters. Again, that doesn't seem too out of thing. Like, that seems to line up. We've already had, like, 2 chapters of it. I think 4 chapters isn't too bad for it. Obviously, like, if Prometheus just stays down, damn. But I think we all know that Prometheus is probably going to get up, and we're going to have a bit more back and forth. It wouldn't surprise me if, like, next chapter Prometheus gets back up, does well, and then, like, Sun Wukong is forced to use a higher percentage and then just defeats him. Can't remember, doesn't King Enma look like Blade? He does look like Blade, and it's really funny, but I'm loving it. Hold on, they might remove the angels in the series. They might just say that unknown angel. Yeah, that is possible. They could do that, or just not mention their names if they're really feeling that, like, concerned about it, I guess. Kingdom Anger is finally getting an English release. Is it? Again, Kingdom's coming up on my list of manga to read. Like, I've almost finished Vagabond. I love it so much. Vagabond is so goddamn good. Kingdom is, like, I've got, like, 2 more mangas than Kingdom. I'm gonna get Pyun Pyun read first, and I finally want to read Kenichi, because Kenichi's anime is great, and I know the manga is even better, so I really want to read that as well. And then Kingdom should be after that. Do you think the fight will be long? If we're talking Simo versus Loki, yeah, I think it's going to be longer than round 9. I don't know if it'll be as long as round 10. No, it might be, because I feel there's going to be a lot of Odin stuff this arc as well, just because, like, I just have a feeling that we're going to be getting more outside of round stuff, so it's just going to make the actual length of the round longer, just going to have more out of round kind of stuff. Corey G versus Chuck Norris, who wins? Humanity adapting King or Chuck Norris? Obviously Corey G. Corey G just solos all fiction. Simo against Loki. Yeah. I think it'll be sizable. Do you think ancient Finnish pantheon of gods will watch Simo fight against Nordic god Loki? Probably not, because it's regular Ragnarok. It'd be really cool, but I wouldn't count on it, to be honest. My boy Anubis keeps getting shafted. I know. It's real sad for it. Like, it's funny, though. I think the running joke of Anubis keeps getting his rounds stolen is funny. Like, it was funny with Shiva. I think it's funny with Anubis. The sadness in Anubis' eyes when, like Loki just went ahead and just fought. I will say... like, Loki's writing has been really interesting. Loki, like, basically... The fact that Loki's willing to, like, fight... willing to risk his life and possibly die just for Brunhild's sake, and the fact he lies about it and says he was going to go next anyway when he clearly wasn't, he's just doing it for her sake, is really interesting. Who's your favourite character in Watchmen? Mine's probably Dr. Manhattan. Yeah, Dr. Manhattan's probably mine. I have a soft spot for Rorschach. I think Rorschach's great. Ozymandias, I think, is really well written. It's been ages since I've read it. I should probably reread it. But Dr. Manhattan, I think, is the most interesting. He explores some very interesting concepts in terms of, like, Watchmen characters. But yeah, Watchmen's great. If you were the one to grab 30... Well, Watchmen's, like, the Watchmen characters' inclusion in, like... which DC event was it? It was, like... I was about to say it's recent. It's not recent. It's quite old now. But, like, with the clock and stuff, like whatever that one was, I don't think some of their writing in that was particularly good, but like in the actual Watchmen story, it was very good. If you're the one to grab 13 humans for Record of Ragnarok, you can use fictional characters, but they can't be overpowered. Ugh. Well, what's the limit of overpowered? Like, well, I guess I have to use fictional characters, because if I use like real humans, they get absolutely demolished. Like, it doesn't matter how strong like a real life human is, they get absolutely washed by anyone in Ragnarok. But if we can use like fictional characters, they can't be too overpowered. Okay. So I want people that are basically, so I guess like if I just go with like characters that are meant to be, that are human and don't have powers, but like obviously are, like I'd have, for example, Batman. I'd obviously have Batman in my roster because like Batman isn't superhuman, but he kind of is, if you know what I mean. He kind of is. He kind of is, basically. It kind of is. So Batman would definitely be on there. Gintama from Gintama, I'd throw him in there. He's got incredible, indomitable human spirit. No powers. Iron Man doesn't have powers. I throw Iron Man in there because some of his armors are like busted as hell. Yujiro Hanma. Baki characters don't have powers. I'd throw Yujiro in there. I'd throw Baki in there too, because both of those guys don't have powers. You know what? I'll put Musashi in there too. Why not? Let's have the 3 strongest Baki characters in there. Who else? They can't have powers. That's the difficult part. Is there any Kengan characters? Maybe Shen from Kengan. He's OP as hell. That's 7. Guts from Berserk. Musashi from Vagabond. We have 2 versions of Miyamoto Musashi in here. That's 9. I will keep thinking in the back of my head, and I'll try to give you 4 more. Prometheus unleashes the flame of humanity. That would be really cool. Like, that'd be really cool. Like, he's lost his divine weapon is shattered now, so like, assumably now that he's not constantly experiencing pain, he's going to be a lot stronger without the chains. Like, the chains are probably like nerfing him a bit, so he's going to have his true strength. It'd be really cool if he uses the flame of humanity. Anubis is being edged right now. It's very true. Also, I like how the Watchmen are subversions of superhero tropes. Rorschach the edgy vigilante, Ozymandias, billionaire genius, Manhattan, Superman, God, etc. Yeah, they are really interesting takes on it. I think Manhattan is the most interesting take. I think his take on like omnipotence is really, really cool. The currently Kingdom is at what I'm calling the Conquest Saga. I've heard such good things about Kingdom. I'm really excited. I hope Anubis is so happy to fight that when his fight starts against Rasputin that he decimates him without realizing. It would be funny. I think the most low diff we're ever going to get is Buddha versus Zero. I don't think we're ever going to get anything like a lower diff than that personally, but it's cool. Maybe Baldur revealed in Loki's backstory. I hope so. I hope we get some more Norse characters because like we haven't had many, to be honest with you. We have, what's his name? Forsensi or whatever? The Justice God that everyone thinks is Fodder, because he is. Is Corey G the father to Chuck Norris? Yes, we'll make that canon. Do you all think Loki's powers will have something to do with dolls? I don't think it will. I really don't. It would be very funny, but I don't think it actually is. Is the fight 50-50 who wins? I mean, technically every fight is 50-50 who wins. But like, I personally think it's, for story reasons, more likely that we get a Simo win. But you know, why do they care so much about offending people with the misportrayal of certain gods, but don't care about offending fans with the bad animation? They got the prodigies wrong. It's because it's money. At the end of the day, people will watch the show. Like, people still watch the show. Like, we've had basically 2.5 seasons. People still watch it. They know they don't need to make the animation better because people will still watch it, so they don't care. The offending people isn't, they don't care about offending people. They care about doing stuff that will get them less viewership in regions. Like, Record of Ragnarok getting like really bad reception in India basically tanked like a lot of their viewership in India. At the end of the day, it's not, they don't care about offending people. They care about the numbers and the viewership. The bad animation isn't turning people away. People are still watching it despite that, so they don't need to change it. People stopped watching because of the Shiva stuff, so they are more conscious of that because they know if they show Jesus, they might lose some viewership. So again, it's not about offending people. It's about just, you know, numbers and viewership, sadly. That's just how business works, I'm afraid. Manhattan goes to the moon and builds a sandcastle to cure his depression. It's true. Guts replacing Leo as the rebel would be cool. Yeah, Guts would just be like, you'd have to make Guts fight like Griffith, like Griffith counts. Like Femto's a god. You make him fight Femto, and then he'd be like really angry. Reminds that Gintoki is a one-off, if not the only shonen MC who have canonically have slept with another man. Hasegawa in the Scandal arc. He doesn't actually sleep. Well, no, he might have slept with Hasegawa. It is implied he does actually. Is the only shonen MC. Yeah, I can't think of any like yaois that are like shonen. So maybe he might genuinely be, which is pretty funny. Sorry, 1 minute. I've got to let the cat out. What are your top 5 favourite moments across Record of Ragnarok as of right now? So, like Tesla's speech, Shiva dance, Hayes backstory. I'm not going to count entire backstories. I mean, you can count Hades because it's so goddamn short. It's basically a moment, but like, I won't count flashbacks here because like they are extended things. So if I had to pick, unordered, my top 5 would be Adam's, what man needs a reason to protect family. It's obviously going to be there. Tesla's like death speech is definitely there. Sasaki killing Poseidon's there. Like the catharsis of that moment is like still is why it makes I love round 3 so much. That moment is incredible. I've got a couple in my mind, but I'm not entirely sure which would be the last 2. I think Shiva calling Raiden by name after killing him might make top 5. I adore that moment. There's a lot of moments in round 5 that I think are just incredible. Maybe the entirety of humanity uniting for the first time, like to support Adam. That's up there. I don't know if that makes top 5. Oh, this is really hard. That might make it. Let's have a think. I don't think there's anything around 1. I think those are the 2 standouts for round 2. I think round 3's fine. I mean, there's anything around 4 that would make top 5. I don't think there's anything in round 5 that would. Round 6. Maybe Zero's death, like him high-fiving Buddha, like thumbs up in Buddha as he passes on, is possible. Could make top 5. Oh no, I know what it is. It would be Qin Shi Huang's basically saying I want to win. That would make top 5 definitely. Those are probably my top 5. Is there anything in 8? 8 has a lot of great moments, but again, like Tesla's speech would probably be the moment from that. Round 9, I really like the end of round 9, like Apollo calling them beautiful. I think that's really good. Round 10, the bit right at the end of round 10 where like Susanoo's like realizes he can't swing his sword anymore is really beautiful. I love that. And maybe the bit of Okuta like accepting his death. That scene was really good. There's a couple, but those are probably the ones that I'd probably say my top 5. But there's so many amazing moments. Yujiro would make Zeus see the women in himself. He would indeed. A versus matchup I'd really like to see is Rorschach versus V. Arguably Alan Moore's 2 most iconic and beloved characters, who I think would also absolutely hate each other. Oh, they would hate each other. Imagine if Anubis doesn't even get to fight because Owen decided I'm starting my plan now. I don't think... I don't know if it'll be by tie. I think we'll see everyone who was meant to fight. I don't think we will be like Chekhov Gun. It's Chekhov Gun. I don't think we are not going to see them fight. So I have faith. Okay, last Watchmen take, but I find it interesting how Watchmen and Ava take a popular genre, superhero mecha, and add a sense of realism to it, flawed and human characters. They are really interesting. Again, like, I think there's superheroes, like, you can... Yeah, like, Watchmen's a really interesting, like, subversion of, like, superhero in a more realistic take. Again, I think plenty of, like, stories have taken superheroes and tried to make them more realistic. Like, movie-wise, Man of Steel, for example. I don't think any of them do it as quite as well as Watchmen. Maybe... maybe Kingdom. Does Kingdom Come count? Because like Kingdom Come does present a more realistic take with like basically young heroes overpopulating and basically becoming more like violent and stuff. It's still very fantastical, so if it counts, but I'd probably add that up there as well. Is Simo a hard counter to Loki because he can make himself invisible or camouflage? We know he's a hard counter to Loki. We don't really know why. Again, we don't know how Loki's going to fight yet. Like, we know Loki can teleport, he can fly. Again, we've seen gods do supernatural shit and then not do anything supernatural in their fight. Like, Susanoo can shapeshift. We don't see anything like that in his fight. So we'd have to wait and see what Loki's actual fighting style is before we can get in that. Because, like, Loki might not teleport in his round at all. He might not fly in his round at all. Even though we know he can do it. It doesn't mean he will actually do it in the fight. Do you think Loki's chains are based on the entrails that he was bound with? That'd be really, really cool idea. I don't know if it will be, but like if it is, like props for predicting the inspiration. Not including BL shonens. I'm not sure they even exist since BL is mostly for women. Yeah, I think it's mostly shoujo for BL. I think he's right. He might be the only one. I can't think of any others. There might be one, though. I haven't read the spin-off yet. Did Wukong fight already? He is currently fighting. William Marshall versus Set, the most loyal knight of humanity, or the most disloyal god of chaos. That would be cool. William Marshall would be very, very fun to see. Paul Bunyan versus Atlas, America's giant that carves Greek versus the Greek giant of strength, holder of heavens. That'd be cool. Paul Bunyan would be a really interesting one. Would his ox fight, or is ox be in the crowd? No offense, but I'm pretty sure 5G is now available all over the UK, so if possible, you should upgrade your internet if it's possible. Yeah, my internet is pretty... Well, no, it's not... The issue with my internet is it's not that my internet's bad. My internet's very good. My house is... The physical house is really old, and the layout's really bad, so the signal getting from the router to anywhere in the house is the problem. It's not that my internet is bad. It's like where my computer is compared to the Wi-Fi box, basically. And I haven't got an Ethernet port upstairs, basically. I don't have one. So to get an Ethernet cable up here would be an absolute pain in the ass. So it's not like my Wi-Fi's bad. It's that the walls are really thick and the signal doesn't get up here very well. That's more the issue. King Baldwin versus Osiris, the undead leopard king versus the dead king of dead king of Duat. Yeah, some just really cool matchups. Anubis is going to be like Katsura. He will always be on standby. Very true. Oh. Bruce Lee versus Zen Wu, greatest martial arts below heaven versus greatest martial arts in heaven. I just love that. Below heaven and in heaven. That's just pretty cool. What do you think Loki's character development will be, and what's your prediction for the theme of the round? For his character development, I think Loki's going to have a really, really tragic backstory. I think he will. I don't know what it is. I think Loki's actually going to be quite sympathetic as a character. I think his backstory will involve Siegfried. I think that's because this is a good way to us get more Siegfried lore without like dedicating time to Siegfried, to have him be part of Loki's flashback. So I think Siegfried will be involved in some aspect. In terms of the themes, I have no idea. Like, Simo versus Loki was not... Well, my Loki prediction is wrong. My Simo prediction isn't wrong, only because Simo was the one character I didn't know who he'd fight. Like, Simo was always my leftover character because I had no idea who he'd fight. But I have no idea about the theme so far. Not gonna lie, I'm happy that new Superman might finally get Superman that's not edgy, unless edgy DC movies universe. Dark movies aren't bad, but DCEU was not good. Yeah, like, again, like, I respect Snyder's vision. I think Man of Steel, as in terms of like an Elseworlds take on Superman, I think it's very interesting. I think there's some interesting stuff. I think it's a horrendous Superman to launch a universe, though. I think how Superman's presented by the end of like the Snyder Cut Justice League. I don't mean that is. I think that's closer to what Superman should be. But I think Man of Steel was not a good foundation to start an extended universe on, because it's an interesting take on Superman, but it isn't like a definitive take on Superman that I think you need in the universe. It's like I don't want to like. I don't want to seem like I'm a Snyder hater. I personally don't like his depiction of Superman and Batman, especially. I think he definitely doesn't understand the characters, and I say that based on the fact that, like, he's just, like, Batman killing is a really, obviously, a nuanced topic, and I think having a Batman that kills isn't inherently wrong. I think you can tell an interesting story with that. I just don't think Snyder understands it, because when he was asked about an interview, Snyder basically said, yeah, but he kills in the comics occasionally, or, yeah, even in The Dark Knight, he kills this guy by, like, punching his head in, and literally the scene he's talking about, Batman doesn't kill the guy. So he clearly doesn't even know what he's talking about, because he references a scene where Batman deliberately doesn't kill someone. Like, he deliberately doesn't do it, but he says he does. So he doesn't even understand source material. So I don't like his takes on Batman Superman particularly. Again, like with the Zod scene, my issue isn't that Superman kills. I think you can do a Superman that kills. My issue is that Superman was forced into a situation where the villain dictated to him two choices, where it's not really a win, where either's basically a loss, and then he's forced to do what the villain wants. Superman finds a third option. He will do the right thing even when it isn't an option. That's what makes Superman Superman. He's super because he can do that. And this Superman gave in and did what the villain wanted. And that, to me, like, it's just like, it shows, like, again, it's an interesting take on Superman, but that isn't Superman. That's not a definitive Superman that you'd want as, like, the main Superman of the universe. Whereas, again, we've yet to see Cornsweat's one in motion. Cornsweat does seem to, like, embody more of what, for me, is my definitive Superman, what I value in Superman's character. Because Superman over the years has probably become my favourite comic book hero. Like, I don't know, I've appreciated Superman more and more as I grow up. And so, like, I'm excited to see it. Yeah, so I'm interested in it. I also think there is room for dark stuff, storytelling-wise. Like Swamp Thing, for example, as we know, is likely going to be a horror movie. I think that's fine. That can coexist. I'm just more interested in each story basically being its own project, it being thematically different from each other, the tone not being universal. That is what I'm looking forward to the most. Superman seems to be a very hopeful movie by the looks of it, and like that is what I'm very much looking forward to in that movie. Again, I don't think having dark or grounded versions of superhero media is a bad thing. I think there's some very great examples of it. I just think I personally like to see more fantastical stuff that embrace it more. The DCU is a living, breathing universe. We're diving right in. This is a verse where superheroes have existed since at least the war. Metas are normal. Magic exists. Monsters exist. Robots are literally, by law, allowed to go to trial and get sentenced to prison. Like, it's a living, breathing world that's very fantastical, and I'm looking forward to diving right into it without having to build up in the same way. Like the MCU, we had to wait till we got to the Doctor Strange movie to even have magic really be a thing, because it wasn't set up. Whereas in this universe, magic just exists, and you just deal with it. But again, I keep straying to talking about DC. Sorry about that. But someone did ask, so you can't blame me. Paul Bunyan's bull versus Force Coat. On the Reddit a week ago, I think someone suggested that divine weapons are just really strong, using Jack's Pebble from round 4 as an example, which could help us understand Simo and his weapon. That could be interesting, yeah. Maybe I might look back on Reddit and see if I can find the post after stream. El Santo versus Zagreus, humanity's strongest wrestler versus the Prince of Hades. Why El Santo bro has fought the werewolf and Dracula and the mummy he works in this fight. Funny, I had a different matchup for both Paul Bunyan and Atlas. Paul Bunyan versus Pan, the battle of nature's advancements, and Atlas versus Frankenstein's monster, the battle of failures. Atlas versus Frankenstein's monster is very interesting. Maybe Sniper versus Trickster. Yeah, like, again, like, we don't, until we see it, we don't know. Have you watched Arcane? And if so, do you think season 2 is a downgrade? I have not watched Arcane yet. I need to watch Arcane. It's on my list. But I just haven't got around to it yet. John Cena versus Hades would be fun fight. We can't see it, though. I'll see myself out for that horrible joke. The difference is, though, like, if John Cena can get the helmet off of Hades, he can see him, but nothing Hades can do will let him actually see Cena. So Cena does have an advantage in terms of his invisibility. People being counters to their opponents both does and does not work, with round 3 pretty much being out of nowhere and round 4 being a complete counter. Who on earth is Sasaki going to fight? Sasaki's insane, because, like, Brunhilde hadn't even met him. Like, she didn't even know what he looked like. Absolute, she was really, like, oh, I don't know what she was thinking with that. Victor, creator Frankenstein versus Jesus, man who saw himself as God versus the man who saw himself as a man. That would not get animated, I tell you that much. Aurelian, the Restorer of Worlds versus Vishnu, the Preserver. That would be cool. As a theme. Am I the only one that's disappointed that Loki hasn't been a trickster since his introduction, nor has he been a one step ahead character? Is Loki actually the god of mischief, or is that a Marvel thing? Loki is generally a god of trickery and mischief, probably as he's presented in mythology usually. I think we're going to lean more into it in the round itself, considering that, like, Brunhild does emphasize that he's very tricky to fight. Yeah, I think we will see more of it, but, like, again, it depends on how he actually fights. Legit, if he wanted a Dark Justice League, there's a thing called Justice League Dark. I don't think Snyder would like Justice League Dark because it's not grounded enough. It's all magic and stuff. He wouldn't like that. I'd be very interested to see his take on that, though. Like, again, I think Snyder can do good stuff. I don't think he always does. But, like, I'd be interested. Balls. Arcane Season 1 was, like, FMA Brotherhood. Season 2 was, like, Fairy Tail. Okay, that's good to know. Got the Iron Hand versus Tur, the one-armed matchup. That'd be interesting. Loki has always been a god of mischief. Like, I'm pretty sure Loki was the bull rolling for Ragnarok for giving the god Mistletoe to strike Baldur and kill him. Rentaro from 100 Girlfriends could, funnily enough, speed blitz everyone except Zeus and Adam. Really? I've not been watching 100 Girlfriends. I did not watch it this season, but, like, it wouldn't surprise me. Do the Fug Shake, Seth. I will not be doing the Fug Shake, I'm afraid. I hope round 11 is more of a waiting game with Loki trying to pinpoint Simo's location and Simo trying to figure out which illusion's real. That'd be really fun. I'd like that a lot. If they were, like, both kind of glass cannony, where, like, it'd be easy to kill them. So it becomes more of this, like, again, like, game of cat and mouse. I really hope we actually get a snowy arena, or at least arena that has, like, scenery and shit so people can hide. I'm very worried we are just going to get a plain ass arena, and that would be very sad. I'm going to put my biggest hot take. I think Black Adam is a good movie. Oh. Black Adam would be a better movie if Dwayne could commit to, like, Black Adam himself being a more, like, evil character. Like, Black Adam's actually a lot more of, like, just a bad person than I expected when the movie was made. I expect him to be a lot more likable. I think he needs to be more antagonistic. I don't hate Black Adam as much as most people. I think it's a fun movie in parts, mainly due to the Justice Society. But I wouldn't say it's a good movie. But that's just me. Imagine if but it did kill. It absolutely just killed the Snyderverse, which is funny. Imagine if Apocalypse of the Gods gets an anime adaptation and it's actually well animated. It'd be fun. I know, isn't Lu Bu meant to be getting animated? I know there were some rumors about it, but I don't know if it's true. Baldur vs Achilles theme invincible body. Think we'll see him turning into a horse. It'd be funny if he turned into a horse. I'm not sure. Again, I'd like his shapeshifting to be a part of his moveset, but, like, we'll wait and see. I've also kind of wanted to Gots versus Kratos just to clickbait it as Guts versus Kratos, lol. There's a feat in the manga where he does something that can reach 90 times faster than light. Okay, yeah, he probably does beat Zeus then. That's fair enough. Hot take about Seven Deadly Sins. Escanor and Merlin are the only sins I like. Escanor because he's cool and Merlin because I like older women. Respectable take, I guess. If I donate $10, you do the Fug Shaker. You're going to have to donate a lot more than 10 for me to do any kind of fug shaking. Just you can donate that 10. It don't mean nothing. Should I know what the Fug Shake is? Should I know what the Fug Shake is? Blackbeard versus Neptune, Battlefield of the Flying the Flying Dutchman. And the Divine Weapon is Davy Jones' Locker. I don't even know how Davy Jones' Locker would function as a Divine Weapon, but it'd be very cool. Perhaps round 11 will have a theme like Duty versus Desire, with Simo hating conflict but knowing he had to fight, and Loki doing everything based on what he desires, like the love of Brunhild or the rest of God. That I love. That's a great idea. I'd love that. Because Simo, as he says, like, he is fighting for the fatherland. Like, he seems to be duty-driven. Loki seems to be driven by lust. Or love, if you want to say it. So that could be really fun. Especially where, like Simo's, like, risking his life for duty. Loki's, like, possibly letting himself die here because Brunhild asked him to. That could be... Yeah, I think you might have, like Wesley, I think you might have, like, hit the nail on the head with that. That could genuinely be it. I really enjoyed the Black Adam movie. It's a shame we won't be seeing that version ever again. Yeah, we're definitely not seeing that. I have faith we're probably going to see the Justice Society, but, like, probably... Like, it wouldn't surprise me if we see them in the Sergeant Rock movie. I'm really excited for Sergeant Rock. I think that's going to be such a good movie. Yeah, so probably I did not expect to ever get the movie, but, like, I mean, that's fun, and I think we definitely could see Justice Society in that. I do have a theory of how the Justice Society may be referenced in Superman itself. I won't go into it. I guess I can go into it. Basically, one of the things I've noticed, and again, I don't expect this to be true, but I think it's a cool like note, is that like of the Lloyd Tech team we've seen of Mr. Terrific, Guy Gardner of Green Lantern, Hawk Girl, and Talk Girl. One thing we've noticed is all three of those are heroes that have a Justice Society version. Like, there was a Hawk Girl, the original Hawk Girl in Justice Society, we have Alan Scott Green Lantern, and we obviously had the original Mr. Terrific. It could, I can see it as a plot point that all three of them were inspired by Justice Society members as kids. And so Superman, basically, who likely might have been inspired by that himself, basically has to remind them of their roots of the heroes they were inspired by. It wouldn't. I think that could be a plot point, because I just find it interesting that all three of these Lloyd Tech team basically all have like versions of them in Justice Society. Could be cool. I don't expect it to happen, but it's just an interesting observation I made. I'll mention some of my matchups too. Vlad versus I do know how to say this. Quetzalcoatl. Achilles versus Balder, Blessing. Oh yes, that was Blood First, Blessing. Don Quixote versus Anasui, Dreams. Dante versus Kali, Creation. Those are some cool ones. Who do you think in Ragnarok has the biggest love count? Raiden, obviously. Top 5 serious arcs in Gintama. Sticking to serious arcs because they're easy to rank. Oh, top 5. How does the final arc get like... I'm just pulling up the arcs because I don't know how, like, what the official, like, split is for the final arc. Like, how many arcs is that actually? Is there a list of just them in order? Okay. Okay, yeah, Silver Soul is all just kind of, like, put into one. Okay, cool. So, number 1 would be Silver Soul, because obviously it would be... I'd probably put... Shogun Assassination at 2. Farewell Shinigami's probably 3. Chords of the Nation's really good. 4 Divas I have a really soft spot for. That could make it. So any early arcs, like any early ones that I think could be really good. I mean, Yagyu's good, but I wouldn't really count Yagyu as like a serious arc. I'd probably then go... Probably Battle and Rakio at 4. And then... Probably... I have Courtesans of the Nation at 5. Or 4... Probably 4 Divas at 5. That's really hard to do. I think that's what I'd say. Someone calculated Poseidon's speed to be high end a few billion times faster than light, low end 100 times faster than light. How did they get Poseidon that fast? Like, what are his speed feats that get him that? How? Like, what? How did you count Poseidon that high? Like there's very little you can actually use to speed feat him. Like, I didn't realize he had. Like, what people are calculating that based on? Like, even with, like, pixel measurements, like, how do you get him that fast? Because, like, all he's doing is jumping in the air and, like, stabbing the ground. Like, yeah, he does it faster than, like, the average eye can perceive. But, like, being faster than a fresh rate of an eye is not particularly fast. So, I'm curious how they count that. Bull Squid. Hi, what I miss about Record of Ragnarok? Not much, because as usual, we don't talk about the actual chapter much. If we make a stream about everyone's roster, should fictional characters be allowed? I did want to, like, actually, like, sit down and work out what the rules for that will be. I'll put them in the Discord. I think we probably won't, or if we do, we'll do, like, separate. We'll have, like, a fictional character roster and then, like, a normal roster. That makes sense. Remember when we wanted to talk about Chapter 98 because of how cool it was? There was, like, a solid 2 minutes we spent on it. Okay. One thing I want to say is, how the hell is Izanagi doesn't recognize Odin? Like, man has done, like, nothing. He's changed his name from, like, Odin god of whatever they're called to Odin supreme god of the Norse. Like, how does he not recognize him? So Izanagi's it's just an idiot. I think I'm just saying my prediction about Siegfried basically being like a vessel for like the for part of Odin's plan has turned out to be true. I did get that. The fact that 2 of those relics aren't actually connected to Beelzebub at all is really weird. I mean, there still might be a connection, but like it's very bizarre that Beelzebub like doesn't have one of the like the relics in him or something like that. That's just kind of weird. I didn't expect Odin to just have them all already. I think the fact that like the actual killing of humanity is part of Odin's plan, I think it puts Brunhild in a lot better light on the basis now that we now know that like Brunhild, like, yeah, she is trying to save Siegfried, but her saving Siegfried does also like save humanity. Like it is that those two things are tied together in a way that it doesn't make Brunhild look like an awful. It doesn't look like Brunhild sacrificing the humanity's warriors for the sake of Siegfried. Like they are both an issue that are tied at the hip. So you know, I do think it's redeemed her a little bit for the people that thought she was being a little interesting, little more like hard. The vid is Poseidon versus Flashy Flash. I won't watch it on stream, but I'll definitely check this out because like Flashy Flash, I know you can like wank really high above light speed because there are like feats for that, but I have no idea how you get Poseidon that fast. Like Ragnarok does not have particularly good speed feats, so I really am curious how they wanked Poseidon that fast because I don't really get how you do that. I guess the only way I can see that is if they don't understand how after images work, because there are some people that genuinely think you need to go fast on light to create an after image, which is just absolute nonsense. That's not what an after image is. People don't understand what an after image is. It's why it's funny because like in Record, like making more after images doesn't make you faster. Like it makes you slower actually. In terms of like actual after images, the more after images you make, the slower you're going. Is why like if you use real physics, like Okita just completely disappearing from Ares' like view is like the most impressive speed feat in the series. Because like Ares could like, well, not the most impressive, but like more impressive than anything like Poseidon does. Because like Ares can like see Poseidon's after images, meaning he can perceive the movement itself, at least parts of the movement. Like in that, like when Poseidon like moves up and down, like the time it takes him to do that is slower than it takes Ares' eye to refresh. Hence why Ares can see like the parts of the movement. Hence the after images. But like Okita doesn't do that at all. Like he just vanishes, meaning he moves there before Ares can even like refresh his eye. So like if you're doing pure physics, like Okita's more impressive than Poseidon. Obviously, I don't think that's intended by the authors. But like you can't like use those after images to calc him to like above light speed because that's just dumb. That's not how they work. Out of the three remaining fighters of humanity, who do you think will win and lose? I think Simo wins this. I think whoever fights next loses. So presumably Rasputin versus Anubis, and then like I think humanity wins the final round. If we get an extra round in there, like I don't really know. I don't know how we're gonna get the extra round basically yet. I'd have Shogun, Farewell, Shinsengumi, and Silver Soul Aftermath in my top three. Then Courtin of the Nation, and then either Shinigami at 5. Oh yeah, Shinigami's really good. Mitsuba, Yoshira, 4 Divas are also up there. Yeah, I think that's a really good list. Oh yeah, what's your prediction for the rest of APOC fights? Let me bring up the roster so I make sure these are right. Not what I want, what I think will happen is I think that's a fan. Where's like the actual roster? I'm just getting fan rosters. What is this? I need the actual roster. I think Wukong will win this round. I think Zook, the Vermilion Bird, will beat Indra. I think Morrigan will beat Nezha. I think Muramasa's going to beat Ahura Mazda. I think Enma's going to beat Death. I think Belial's going to beat Leviathan. I think Surtur's going to beat Hydra. I then think Ku will beat Wukong. I think Morrigan will beat Zook. I think Enma might beat Muramasa. I think Surtur will beat Leviathan. Then I think Ku will beat Morrigan. Surt beats Muramasa. Again, the second half of the roster, second side, I think is really hard to gauge because we haven't really met any of the characters yet. But that would be my predictions. And then Ku wins the overall thing and then gets beaten up by Zeus or something. Or like he dies in the final fight or something and no one wins. I don't know. That'd be my prediction for that. Second Winter Day is more popular than Record of Ragnarok. I mean, in its prime. Yeah, probably. It's in Shonen Jump. I think that just gives it a boost up in popularity. Wait, for real, how did they get the few... Yeah, wait for it, how did they get the few billions? I have no idea. I'll have to watch this video, because I have no idea how you can ever wank him that high. Flamma the man who rejected freedom versus Fenrir the wolf who wants freedom. That could be cool. Yeah, but they jumps and stabs the ground really fast. He does do it really fast. I think the only move he has is 100-day flood. 50-day flood. Let's not wank him to 100-day flood. He didn't even get that far. Unless they're counting Sasaki's schizo prediction powers. Yeah, like 50-day floods, you can't, like... I don't know how you'd even calc that to be particularly... Like, I don't know how you'd actually calc it. Like, there's not really a good way to calc that. And even if you did, I don't know how you could calc it to be that high. Which sin do you think you embody the most? For me, it's definitely sloth. I'd say pride, and because I can be a little cocky. I have been known to be a little ego-driven and cocky in stuff. It's really something I'm good at, someone else isn't. I am a bit prideful about it, I will admit. That's probably what I'd say. Weird question. Is wheat bread good to make a grilled cheese? I've had very nice wheat bread like toasties before. I've had them. They've been very nice. I'd say on average a white bread toastie is probably going to taste nicer because white bread has loads of sugar in it and it makes it taste nice. But I've had good wheat bread toasties before. If fictional characters are allowed, I want Makato Yuki from Persona vs Poseidon, the most human man versus the most godly gods. That would be very cool. Siegfried is a funny way to say Ares. Ares is definitely going to be the Loki flashback because Ares is just in everyone's flashbacks. Izanagi probably is planning a sealing technique or a one-time attack. I do think it's likely Izanagi will confront Odin at some point and then like he'll be used the hype tool to like hype up Odin. What do you think makes a better husbando, Speedwagon or Retsu Kaio? Ooh, probably Retsu. God, I wish I was Sakamoto's wife. God, he's turned from a red into such a green flag for love. Honestly, I've made an entire fan roster for Ragnarok fictional characters for humans, and they would only be humans with things humans in their series can do, even if just theoretically. Yeah, that's cool. Like, I think it's hard when it becomes, like, with humans from fiction, because, like, technically, like, the Flash is a human, but, like, the Flash is, like, basically a god in terms of powers. I tried to make After Image... I think to make After Image about Mach 5, I mean... It depends how you define an after image, because you can do that and make an after image. Like, you can do that and make an after image. Like, it's not difficult. Even if, yeah, if you're going, obviously, like, the after image also will depend on, like, how far away you are, because it's, like, the distance traveled. So, I mean, there's a reliable way to, like, measure, like, how fast you have to go, because, like, the most important thing for an after image is, like, where you are in relation to the object, because it's about, like, how much you can see. Because, like, obviously, if I'm looking at a smaller area of land that you have to move across, it's going to be a lot harder for you to create an after image. I don't know. Again, like, yeah, you don't have to be, like, fast and light to be an after image. That's just dumb. Apocalypse of the Humans. Izanagi, hey, aren't you the same Odin we sealed away with the other primordials? Odin, nah, bro, I'm a supreme god, not a primordial. Izanagi, understandable, have a nice eternity. Izanagi could be just chill like that. Just thinking for the fictional character roster, would the humans fight other fictional gods like Beerus or other Ragnarok gods or other gods or anything? I would assume fictional gods would be my assumption. So like Beerus, for example. It also depends how many after images are made. Yeah, after images, like, again, like as I said, the more after images you make, the slower you're going. Like, because the more you're seeing is the more after images the viewer sees is the more of the movement they are perceiving. So the less after images, the faster you're going. The more you make, the less you're like, so if I'm traveling in a straight line from here to here and I create 7 after images, that means I'm going slow enough that the person watching is able to perceive my movement 7 times. Like, I'm going slow enough that their eye is able to pick up 7 points of movement between the eye refreshers. If it was only 1 after images, that means I'm going a lot fast. I'm going like 7 times faster because I can now see the 1 moment. So the more after images you make, the slower you're going. No after images means you're going faster than the eye can like perceive at all, basically. And obviously everyone has different eye refresh rates anyway, so like there's no way to like reliably measure this. It's why after images are dumb for scaling. Also the author doesn't calculate this. Again, I think for power scaling, it should be what the author, you should be trying to work out what the author's intending by the feat. The author does not care about pixel measurements or stuff like that, so I don't think it actually matters in proper scaling. But that's just my view on power scaling. Wait, did Nostradamus betray humanity? No, I think Nostradamus still wants humanity. Again, we don't know how his prophecies work, so it's definitely possible that he is doing stuff in order to put them on the path to humanity winning and helping out, keep Siegfried alive. Like, Siegfried being alive might be an important way that humanity is saved, and for that reason, he is seeing to win. If we include fictional characters, Rentaro and girlfriends, Capitano, Genshin, All Might, My Hero, Netero, Hunter, Naruto, Gojo, JJK, Ezra, Fairy Tail would be our first choices. Yeah, Gojo is fun because, like, the thing with Gojo is, even if you massively outscale him, unless you can mind control Gojo, you can withstand Infinite Void and then just one-shot him when Infinity's not active, or you can bypass Infinity by, like, spatial manipulation or something like that. You can't actually really hurt him. Doesn't mean he can kill you, but, like, he is a bit annoying like that. Senku from Dr. Stone fights Beelzebub, the man who brought hope in a stone world with despair that consumes all hope. Could Senku do it? I feel Senku would have to do a bit of prep work beforehand. I think if you plopped him in the arena, he dies. But if he had prep work like Tesla, I think he could probably do it. 1 minute. Oh. So Dandadan. What about Dandadan? Dandadan's been good recently because we had multiple chapters of, like, not minor characters. We had the adults doing stuff. Okay, my idea for Aphrodite and Eve, hang a chest off is genius. I mean, it is. But, like, we can't be looting mum like that. Michael versus Azaroth. I can't say Azaroth. The angel who defeats Satan versus the Dreamer. Yeah, they're just really cool. Hot take, Leo turning into a missile heading straight for Apollo with Blitz beside and leave him like Cell after the final flash. I have stated this before. I got cooked for it. I think Leonidas' travel speed is actually really goddamn impressive. But, like, again, there's no real... The only things we can reliably say speed-wise is Apollo's arrow is light speed. So, Leo can react to light speed attacks. That is a fact. He only does it, like, once. Doesn't mean, like, he can do it, and he can't do it on command, but he can do it. Zeus can punch faster than the speed of light. Adam can too. That, speed-wise, is, like, all we've got. We've got, like, those 4 feats in relation to light speed, and nothing else really has, like, a concrete, like, speed that we can actually apply to it. So they're, like, the only speed feats we can accurately calc. If the Watchmen heroes were in One Punch Man, what hero class would they be? Like, Manhattan, yeah, would be S-class. Rorschach, A? I don't even have Rorschach being A-class, to be honest with you. Again, like, class isn't just strength. It's, like, how popular you are and stuff. I don't know. I don't even think Rorschach would be maybe B-class. Ozymandias, I can see maybe an A. Again, like, One Punch Man scaling is just kind of insane. I don't know. Let's get them up. Watchmen heroes. Let's go through everyone. Let's get the list up. List of Watchmen characters. Twilight Lady. If I remember correctly, she does not have many particularly good feats. So probably C-class, I guess. I don't think she has anything particularly cool. Dr. Man, S-class. Rorschach. I don't know. I don't know if Rorschach would... Like, maybe Rorschach could be B-class? He might even be C-class. Night Owl, again, probably C-class. Comedian, I can see, like, B-class. Yeah, it's kind of... I feel like, apart from Manhattan, a lot of them don't make it particularly high just because it's One Punch Man. If you could change one thing from each round of Sephiroth, what would you change? I would change... Okay, so round 1... I don't know about round 1. I'm not entirely sure. Round 2 again? Round 3, I would change Amaterasu's backstory. I was kind of just rushed to do it. Like, time was ticking. I would have liked to have done that better. Round 4, I think, is perfect. Like, as far, like, I wouldn't change anything about it. Round 1, I would have just liked a bit more back and forth, like, actual fighting aspect of it. I think that I would like to maybe add a little more depth to Washington's backstory. Round 2 is great. I love round 2. I wouldn't change anything about that. Oh, this cat, honestly. Sophie, come on, shush. Come ones. Don't need all this back and forth. Okay, I'm probably gonna have to end stream soonish. I'll obviously get through all the chats, but like just a fair warning, get your questions in now. Because I've got a bit more work to do tonight. Capitano in Genshin fought the god of war and fire in a near stalemate, and yes, I'm serious about Rentaro. I can't say anything because I'm spoilers. Why is Rentaro so strong? What is this? Saint Germain, the man, achieved godhood through human means versus Coyote, the god who humbles those who get out of line. I'd love to have seen Coyote in actual Ragnarok. I thought it'd been really, really interesting. One Punch Man has a lot of redraws. This is the third redraw of this arc. Like, it's not even the arc people like. They're redrawing the Ninja Arc for the third goddamn time. Why didn't one and Murata brainstorm over how to continue instead of releasing a chapter and change their minds later? It just very much seems like Murata just will see it and then not be happy and just want to redo it. It also wouldn't surprise me if like one doesn't care particularly on the basis that he doesn't want it catching up to the webcomic, which it's very close to doing. You know, I've shared my piece that I think the manga has not been particularly good since like midway through the Monster Association arc. But that's just me. You know, I love the webcomic a lot more than the manga. But yeah, I think it's... I don't really know what's going on. Kanata versus Apollo. A young woman who loves art versus the god of art and beauty. That'd be cool. Gunas. Eve is most... The boys. Stop the heresy. Yeah, we can't loot Eve. I think when Season 3 comes out, there'll be another Gojo effect with Chin, where we see him all over the place, but probably to a lesser scale. Yeah, probably. All Might would be a good matchup for Heracles. I think we all know what Naruto has done. We've seen Barrier Mode doing business. Yeah, well, Barrier Mode doesn't last long. Considering like the average like match in like Record Ragnarok lasts like 10 minutes. I don't even know Barrier Mode. You can go all out from the start basically. Netero from Hunter would just be awesome to see. Ezra from Fairy Tail is so strong she's just based. Yeah, and Netero just has such a fun fighting style to see. Gojo is just Gojo. Think Batman could Poseidon with enough prep time. Yeah. The funny thing about Batman is that Batman's written really different. If Batman's written in a Justice League story, he is the omnipotent prep time god. If Batman is written in a Batman story, he loses to like slightly steroided up man. Like, it's very funny how differently Batman's written depending if it's like a Batman story or like an expanded DC story. But like technically Batgos is Batman, and Batgos would like no diff the verse. So you know, Gogeta versus Lucifer, the angel born in hell versus the first fallen angel. I think Gogeta would demolish, but you know, Manhattan S-Class, Ozymandias and Owlman A-Class, Silver Spectre and Rorschach B-Class, and the Comedian C-Class, maybe B-Class. Yeah, maybe. I don't know. I don't... Like, just if you compare, like, the power scaling of the verses, like beside Manhattan, like, the one part, even, like, the B-Class heroes are, like, outstatting, like, most of the what's it called? The Watchmen characters. Zeus and Adam even surpassed the concept of the science, so it'd be instantaneous, and when the fact one can still be faster than the other. Yeah, you can't be faster than light to begin with. That's just not how physics work, but yeah, they are faster. Leo does it multiple times if you count him raising a shield and deflecting them counts. Again, like, I personally do think it counts, but, like, because people say it's not stated to be it, like, people will disregard it, and I don't want to argue with them, because, like, they do kind of have a point, but I personally would count it as being multiple ones. Also, him being able to predict an invisible arrow and its travel path is as impressive as Saki. Yeah, people just downplay Leonidas a lot. Saitama versus Dr. Manhattan, the peak of humanity versus the god who lost his humanity. Saitama smashes because Saitama the strongest. He one-punches everyone. No joke, you can make a good argument for Uni to Outer Rentaro. Outer Rentaro? What are Rentaro's feats? This is I'm going to have to watch or read this now just to see Rentaro in action. There's a theory that God is the one who's doing the redraws. That's funny. Batman has the Hellbat. That is so strong he defeated Darkseid. I mean, the Hellbat is strong, but like, what we need to remember about Darkseid is so... Darkseid's really weird. Like, Darkseid is written in such a way that because Darkseid exists, true Darkseid exists out of the multiverse, every time like we see Darkseid defeated, it isn't the real Darkseid, it's like an avatar of Darkseid. It's kind of weird. It's like a Silver Age concept that just hasn't been retconned, so it's just kind of true. So it does mean that like true Darkseid just like outscales most things in DC. So I don't, again, like Batman didn't beat true Darkseid, but he did beat a Darkseid, which is still really impressive. Yeah, Darkseid's weird because he's outside the multiverse. It means even like New 52 Darkseid versus like pre-Crisis Darkseid are the same character because like they're not influenced by the multiverse. It's weird. I think it should have been retconned by now, but hey ho. The Doctor versus Rick. Yeah, there was already a death battle about it. I mean, the Doctor is like the king of like anti-feats because there's so many goddamn anti-feats for Doctor. But like Doctor's easily outer with his like upper feet, so again, I don't know what like the thing is like the thing with like we have an author again because we have a creator statement saying that like random like villain the Vindicators are trying to fight that like Rick kills drunk. That character is meant apparently according to statements is stronger than Darkseid and Thanos combined. And like Thanos isn't actually that strong compared to Dark. Like true Darkseid is like so much stronger than Thanos. But like, if this character is stronger than true Darkseid, then like it makes Rick so unbelievably overpowered. It's unreal. But I don't think most people count that as like a serious statement. Batman the Brave and the Bold started throwing hands with Darkseid and nothing but shotguns. Batman from the Brave and the Bold is like the goatest of goats. That show is so good. It's so good. It's such a good like Batman has so much good media. But like that was definitely one of the best. Well, go have a good day, everyone. Have a good day, Scuzz Rose, if you're still around to see my message. Again, we're ending stream very shortly, but like it was great to have you around, and we did actually talk about the chapter a bit. Rento also has often entire mountain of people. I'm not kidding. What is this series? Do you think every author who writes characters that moves fast and light got an F in physics? I don't think it's like they got an F in physics. I think most people don't understand truly how fast light actually is. And I think a lot of them just don't care because fast and light is just cool. It's just cool. And like when you're writing a story like that, you want it to be cool. You don't care about the physics. So I have no issue with them characters being fast and light in stories when stated because it's cool. It's a cool thing. It's very cool. But like in terms of like actual like physics, it doesn't make any sense. Benkai, the warrior monk who died standing out of loyalty versus Perun, Slavic chief of Thunder. Perun may make a cameo in the next record of Ragnarok, just so you know. Is that my doggy barking? Let's have a look. Hello, Tinks. Oh. Okay, you go over there. Hello. Come here. Wow. Here comes the camera. Wow. Who's this? Say hello? Say hello? No? Okay. I'll go sit up with the cat. Last few messages before we end stream. Denji versus Kratos. Boy who fights devils versus man who fights gods. I think Denji gets destroyed there, but like it'd be very funny. He offers an entire mountain because he wanted his girlfriend to have a nice walk. I need to watch this show. This show sounds great. What is the dog doing? Dog's menace. What's your current ranking for the human fighters? Adam at 1. Sasaki at 2. Tesla, Buddha. Does Buddha count? I guess Buddha doesn't really count. It's really hard. Lubu. We'll put Lubu up there. The make is biased. Qinji Huang. Oh, 1 minute, doggy. Yeah, 1 minute, cat. I don't know. Okita maybe. Raiden. I'm probably missing someone like really strong here. Leo. Who am I missing? Jack. I don't know. It's hard. It's really hard to rank it. And lastly, Ragnarok fandom predictions. Round 7 to round 13 will be a tie. One of the rounds becomes a tie. Content creators called it. Yeah, that's why I don't even call it anymore because I don't fucking know. Among the chapter discussion was in our imagination. Anyways, best wishes for everyone. Incredible stuff. Good boy. The chapter discussion was the friends we made along the way. I think the internet's really tanking now, so I will end stream now. Thank you everyone for watching. Sorry it's been so long since the last stream, but you know, it is what it is. I know. Don't let it flip the pillow. Kumagarvis Loki, humanity's mischievous loser, and the gods' mischievous loser. We know who wins that. low key because Komagawa always loses. And on that message, we will end the stream.